Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is your boy Freeze, and today I'm actually taking a request from my good friend, fellow content creator, and moderator, the Mercenary Terror, who wanted me to do a video on Sinnertwin, and I've been putting it off for a little while, but I actually got to play around with this guy in one of my live streams over the last couple of months, and man, I actually like this dude a lot, and I know it's not popular for the speed up and slow down abilities, but when used correctly, this dude can be an absolute machine. So I wanted to go up there and put that info out there, particularly for Merc Terra, and just show some of the good things that you can do with Sinnertwin. Now, the Autobot counterpart is Streetwise. So I'll be showing Sinnertwin for the purpose of this video. I've already got him leveled up on my test account and everything like that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started, and we will start by looking at some stats. All right, so stat wise, we're looking at our 4-star level 70 Sinnertwin, and when we look at his rank, we got him. This is just at the private rank. And when I look at his statistics, damage wise, he's okay. He's at 546.9 for the maxed out 4-star, and then health wise, he's okay as well. 34.5k, which I'm saying that's pretty typical for a 4-star maxed out um, special class spot. Now, the selling point for me is a time split grenade. So I've got it here at ability 11, and it reads that when it shoots a time split grenade, and when caught in an explosion, every ally is 50% faster. Now, the ability 11 actually adds an additional 20% to it. So if you get it at any of the lower levels, you're talking about at level 10, you're going to have it at 30%. Once you hit it to 11, it's going to wind up being 50%, which is actually pretty significant. And the same thing for the slowdown. So the enemies are going to get slowed down, the allies are going to get sped up, and it's a long lasting effect. Both effects last for 22 seconds, which is really, really good. And I'm going to actually go do some gameplay here in a second, but I also want to highlight the cost. The cost is 3 plus 3, which is relatively low. If you want to spam it for repeat use, it can start to get costly over time, but he's an excellent, excellent, excellent support bot. And so let's go and build a team around him to see what we can make happen. Now, to try to build around Sinnertwin, this is the team that I've chosen. So I'm going to use Bludgeon because he's my primary tank that I use in most practical situations. And so for him, the focus that I'm really looking at is just being able to shield the rest of the team. I got him with the Onyx Prime core so that he can be a little bit more susceptible to damage, and then also increase his damage as he goes along. And so Zori is going to kind of help along with that, so he has a little bit of AoE damage as he charges in. Running Muck is here to be my protective piece. I've got him hooked up with the G1 and the maxed out 4-star Fracas, so that's going to allow him to just just kind of assist in the protective part, kind of back up Bludgeon there a little bit. And then, of course, we've got our star of this video. It's going to be Sinnertwin. Now, I'm looking at him as a support piece, so I'm giving him the Micronus core. Lancelon has actually come out since I did my last live stream talking about speed up and slow down. And so when I use Sinnertwin, one of my key things is I want to keep him as far back as possible. Lancelon is going to help assist him with that because his ability, it goes off every 6 seconds, and so that's going to allow him to get a little bit of a damage boost in addition to that animation, keeping him back, keeping him from getting himself into trouble, being that he is actually going to go in the melee range, which is one of the things, one of the negatives that goes into the using Sinnertwin. So hopefully that'll help offset that. I haven't actually tested this team out, so I'm going to be testing it out on this video. And then I got Acid Storm, who I need to give a power core to. I think I'm going to run that Nexus Prime just so that I can have a little bit of assistance when I'm going up against the combiners on the opposing squad. So I'll give him the Nexus Prime core. He's my carrier for my 5-star fracas, and you can see that it gives him a substantial amount of damage. So that's what I'm going to be using him for, and I'm going to use him as a little bit of support for anti-heal and ranged attacking. Now, just because it's one of the bots that I just love to use, I'm going to use Knockout with this Alchemist Prime and Fireline setup. You guys have heard me talk about that many times. So that'll he's not going anywhere. I'm gonna keep him and ride that until the wheels fall off. So that's gonna be the guy that I'm gonna use for that. But then I started looking at, if I'm building a team around Sinnertwin, the last three bots I'm thinking about is just using as complementary pieces. Now, one key thing to think about is that speed in Transformers Earth Wars does not stack. So I'm still going to use Crankcase, and I'm going to use him. He's level 67 right here. I'm going to give him Quintus. I feel like Quintus needs to be in every team, so I'm going to use it as a protective piece for him because honestly, he is a little bit squishy. I got him with my 3-star Fracas right now, and I want to see, one key thing that I'm going to look at is see if he actually has good survivability in this case. If not, I'll make some adjustments. But I think from my experiences with other bots that this is going to be just fine. Um, his ability, that engineer's touch, you can get guys to your allies to go up to 100% faster for 15 seconds. And so the key thing, and he's also going to add some heal to there as well. So he'll act as like a secondary healer. Um, I think it's going to work out quite well. You just have to be careful so that you, because the speed doesn't stack, and because the speed doesn't stack, one of the things I was looking at is using Terramander, because technically his ability is a debuff. So you're going to lower your enemy damage by 60% for 17 seconds. So when I start talking about speed ups and slowdowns, because they don't stack, if you can use the opportunity to lower the enemy damage somehow, then I think that's an advantage, because not only is the enemy going to be attacking you with less damage, but you're also going to slow it down, and you're also going to speed up using Sinnertwin. So it makes you clear areas a lot faster, and so that's going to be a focal point of my attacks. And then Shockwave, like I said, when you can't stack something, I feel like it's always a good policy to use to go and just be able to layer out. So if you're focusing your team around speed up and slow down, then you obviously Shockwave has that ability where you're going to be able to speed up your entire team. Movement and attack speeds will increase by 80%. We got him at ability 11, and then we've also got his G1 Cool, and then we got Beto up there as well. So with Beto, you're able to add to the healing a little bit, as well as a G1 is going to add to the healing, and it's going to add a 10% attack boost. The higher of your attack boost is going to take over. So you got um you got some options here. I'm going to go load up my Galvatronus. We'll take a look at the prime zone. Alright, so here I am in the prime zone. And one of the things I'm looking at that I don't have any FFDs. That'll probably help me out a lot for bludgeon and run amok. And I think I'll just come up here and pop up on the right side. And because it's clustered, one of the things it's going to allow me to do is to go in and use Terramander for the debuff. That's not going to affect my speed stacks and what I can actually do. Now, one of the things, well, I'll talk about what I was going to do in a second, but I'm noticing the Sinnertwin is already creeping up by default. He is a melee bot, and so that's one of the things that's going to make you have to monitor him a little bit heavier. Now, I do have Lancelon on him, which is Buzz Strike for you guys on the Autobot side, but I think that I'm going to go ahead and, well, it looks like Bludgeon ran away, so I'm going to use Run Amok to surge ahead, keep him behind, and it's going to take some management on your part. Now, when I use Sinnertwin, I've already got some speed boost going on um, from Shockwave, from his G1. And so I'm going to have to be strategic in how I use these speed boosts just because they don't stack. And so for me, that means that I'm going to actually try to go get Bludgeon out front. can already see how fast everything is moving. But I'm going to focus here on getting the speed up for the bomb from Sinnertwin, and you can already see that the team is moving much faster. And you can actually, now that ability is running for 15 seconds, so you can actually kind of layer your speed ups out. And so I'll use crankcase in this instance, and because he's at 100% speed boost, he's gonna over override the speed boost that you already got going, and you can see that that base gets eliminated right away. So that's on just a regular base. Let me go take a look and see how that'll work on a Prime League opponent. So overall, I like Center Swing quite a bit. Um, it's one of those oddball bots that you kind of look at it and you say, ah man, he's going to get himself into trouble, and it just all boils down to tactics. And this is one of the reasons why I always tell people, if you are trying to build a team, you seem team synergy does become a point of emphasis. And certain power cores I know I want to have on each team. So my Cronus I know I want to have on each team. It's going to wind up giving a bunch of healing to everybody around. Like I said before, Lancelot is going to help try to keep him back somewhat. At least every 6 seconds, that animation is going to cause him to kind of sag back a little bit. Not being able to be hacked with Lancelot equipped is an additional bonus. And to be honest with you, if you build the team around Sinnertwin, I like to build teams so that I can try to stack different things where since you can't stack speed, then what you can kind of do is layer out your speed boost and not waste a bunch of ability points. So when I built this team, I can use crankcase in some situations, particularly when I feel like I'm starting to lose health. You know, you can use Sinnertwin to try to do the slow down. You can use Terramander for the debuff. And I think that if you go put a little bit of thought into your team composition when you're building around certain bots, then suddenly bots that you didn't think were viable options now become viable options. I didn't even have to use Shockwave's ability at all, but that was an option there as well. But yeah, I actually like this bot quite a bit. If I wanted to go and try to go build something around speed up and slow down, he would be a focal piece, and I wouldn't mind seeing him. I think they would probably do a rework first, but I wouldn't mind seeing him as a 5 star at some point, particularly because he is going to be a combiner piece, which I think is going to be needed at some point. And so, because that is the case, I think it is a good idea for us to learn how to use some of these combiner bots now, including Sinnertwin, just because I don't want anybody to just be upset because they pull them. You have to be able to know how to use them in order to be able to use the appropriate strategies that come with using Sinnertwin. But overall, um, I like him quite a bit. He's quite a fun bot to use. So shout out to Mercenary Terror for making that idea for a video. And I plan to do more of these bot specific videos going into 2024. So thank you guys. Don't forget to check out my live streams. Right now I'm doing them on Thursdays, but typically they're on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. And I'll see you then, and I'll see you on the battlefield. Freezius out.